Okay, back again, second video. Because I didn't notice before that Laura Lee, the librarian, had replied with some questions. Um, and I'm sorry I hadn't seen you, but here's part two anyway, because the other one was getting long. But so first question from her is, where did I get the idea for Ray from? Which I was kind of hoping someone would come up with this question. The first time I ever had an idea for a OC for Supernatural was a good witch, a Wiccan. Um, after I think I started to think of that after probably after the one Wiccan episode that they had in season 7, Time for a Wedding. Um, because they had the Crossroads demon that was pretending to be a Wiccan. Um, and but I thought the idea, why not have a white witch, have a white Wiccan, um, to sort of help them out. Um, and then from there, I kind of witches tend to gross me out a little bit. Yeah. But anyway, but eventually it came back anyway for Ray's backstory. Um, and the idea for Ray really came from watching all of these all of all of ZE's movies actually. And Memoirs of a Geisha and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon especially. Um, I mentioned this before. It's in the head canons, but it was watching those two movies that really helped me, firmly choose that ZE would be Ray and Michelle Yeoh would be her mother, Yumiko. But Ray developed from those, just because they didn't really have any Japanese characters on Supernatural, and they've only ever featured Japanese creatures twice. So I was like, there's a whole bunch of different Japanese creatures out there that I want to use. And I will say this: I don't count the kitsune because they weren't, reportedly Japanese. Um, except for that's where the lore from them came from. But the Okami, Bobby says himself, he's never met one outside of Japan, and that was another part of it that I'll get to later. Um, and then of course the shojo in season 7. Um, but yeah, and then also just my personal Sam fangirl coming out. I wanted to create a girl for him, a hunter girl for him, since Sam needs love, and my cousin had already claimed Cass and Gabriel for her character for Ronnie. um, but yeah, and besides, I really like Sam anyway, so it works for me. Um, but yeah, and Ray just basically, developed from my wanting to have a Japanese character. Plus, since I'm an anime fan first before I became a Supernatural fan. Um, and yes, I do own the Supernatural anime. It is worth watching for any of you who have not seen it. I know that there is the abridged series out there, but the anime, and plus the fact that they did get Jared to voice Sam for the entire thing, even if they could only get Jensen to be in the last 2 episodes. Um, and I loved it. I really did. Um, and there's actually an episode of the anime that also helped inspire Ray. Because they did a Japanese critter in there, actually a Japanese spirit, in Las Vegas. And just a whole bunch of different episodes, building on each other of, you know, I have a Japanese character in there. So yeah, that was how Ray really came to be, pretty much. And to get her over to the States, I was thinking, places that have the biggest population of Japanese people. And I was just like, Hawaii. Hawaii has a huge Japanese population, um, despite Pearl Harbor. So, That's where that came from. Next question. Favorite book? I'll answer this for both me and Ray. For me, honestly, I can't even choose, though. I really cannot choose. I have so many different favorite books. But I'll guess I'll just go with the one that first comes to mind. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite of the Harry Potter books. It's the one I've read the most. And I think it's probably my favorite simply because there was no real bad guy. Um, Not really, because I mean, Peter never did anything bad, and Sirius turned out to be a good guy. So, I mean, I guess the closest thing you really get to a bad guy would be Snape. It was just my favorite. It really was. I really liked Prisoner of Azkaban, and I am severely beyond pissed of how they destroyed the movie. Um, the only things good about that movie were uh, Sirius and Remus. Remus is my favorite character. Needless to say, I sobbed very, very, very much reading the seventh book. And for Ray, she doesn't really have a certain favorite book, more so as a favorite series. I've talked about this before as well. There's a series out there called Rurouni Kenshin. It's a manga and an anime, but it all takes place in the Meiji era, which is 1800s, I believe. Yeah, I think. If it's not 1800s, it's very early 1900s in Japan. It's just after the samurai breed has died pretty much, but it still has a whole lot of different history in it, and she likes it for the history. Um, in fact, actually, her favorite, her historical idol is Hajime Saito, who plays a role in Rurouni Kenshin, but he is in fact a historical figure. Um, he was part of the losing team for the Japanese Revolution that went on. But he was an amazing man. He really was. From all the research I've done about him. Next one, favorite movie. Um, Again, another hard one for me. I've got a couple though. I love Moulin Rouge. Um, Actually, my prom dress was a tailor-made recreation of the red dress that Nicole Kidman wears in Moulin Rouge. I still have it. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I loved it. I love that movie so much. Um, Other than that, I also like Repo, the Genetic Opera. Um, Actually, got to see that live this year. Back in June, they came to Dallas and did the show, and I loved it. Unfortunately, it was not the official group, Terrence Newick's group, doing it, but the guy that played Grave Robber did a very, very, very nice job. He was very hot, and I got a picture with him. I was very happy. um, if anyone wants to see that picture, I can easily message them a link for it. um, and for Ray's is actually extremely easy. Jet Li's Hero. It is gorgeous. It is really an absolutely gorgeous movie. It's one of my favorites too. Um, but ironically, it has Ziyi Zhang in it. No Michelle Yeoh, but it's a story about this assassin who a policeman who has no name. He's called Nameless, or No Name, and he has successfully, rid the country of the three most dangerous assassins in all of China at the time. And it's he's meeting the emperor, and telling the emperor how he did this, and the emperor at first doesn't believe him and tells him his version of the story of how he thinks it happened. Um, and then the truth comes out, and it is beautiful visually, completely beautiful. Um, I can't even describe how beautiful it is. Um, there are some gifts that my cousin for me of Hero. If you type in Ziyi Zhang GIF, uh, spelled Ziyi space Zhang and then GIF, you can see all of the gifts that my cousin has made for me, and they're most of them are labeled with where they're from, um, and the Hero ones are all labeled. They're gorgeous. I love Hero. Just and it is definitely Ray's favorite movie, both for the martial arts side of it and for the visuals. Um, Her second favorite, because I mentioned Repo, would be Memoirs of a Geisha. Even though it doesn't have all the martial arts, she loves the. She's a history buff. She is a secret history buff. um, and even though there's no martial arts in it, she loves the history of that time period in Japan. Um, and again, also she loves the visuals as well. Um, so yeah. And last one, favorite quote. Ray's is, I think, Amefute chi katamaru, something like that. Um, it basically means, in direct translation, it means after rain, after the rain, earth hardens. Adversity builds character. After a storm, things will stand on more solid ground than before. Um, so after something bad happens, you'll always be stronger afterwards, pretty much. Um, and for me personally, hang on, I have a list of quotes on my Facebook that I really like, if I can find them. There we go. No. This one is actually from an anime. It's actually an anime based on Count of Monte Cristo. It's called Gankutsuo. Gorgeous. If any of you guys are anime fans, look up Gankutsuo. It is visually gorgeous. Um, but it is because the soul is pure and innocent, it is all the more susceptible to becoming troubled and tarnished. The tarnish becomes an indelible stain, a stain that gradually spreads. When one is no longer able to trust others, is that when one truly becomes an adult? Um, that one, when I was watching the series, that quote just stood out to me, and always will. Um, I've got some others. Sometimes people who put up walls not to keep others out, but to see who cares enough to tear them down. Um, this one kind of, this one applies to me and Ray. He that dares not grasp the thorn should never crave the rose. And then words can make a deeper scar than silence can heal. Lots of angsty quotes. um, Mostly just because I've had some hard times in my life that I've overcome. Definitely overcome. And I'm better for it, better after it. So, uh, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't think of any other quotes for Ray at this point. Definitely the after the rain, earth hardens, is her quote. But I think that is it. Yep. So again, second part of the video is done. Um, and I will get it uploaded as soon as the first one is. So again, sayonara, goodbye. Oyasumi nasai. That was good night in Japanese. There you go. First lesson in Japanese. I will quiz you later. I will do it.